Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contest and listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. Sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. DJ PK, and we're joined now by Frank Dolce, former Ute quarterback. Frank, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Frank, another week, another blowout. You getting bored with these, or you savoring every ridiculous snap as they just stampede through whatever defense is in their way?
No. I mean, if you're asking me if I'm comfortable with this football team, I would say no. I still feel like it's every week they have to go out and prove who they are, and they've accomplished that so far, but. And we talked about this a while ago. If Utah wanted to accomplish their goals, they had to win out. They had to win each week. And I still feel like that is should be the mentality. It's so funny. When I watch this team offensively, there are times when I think, what are they? It seems like they're out of sync or not communicating, and then all of a sudden, they score a touchdown or something. It's been such an interesting offense to watch, because at times it feels really frustrating to watch, and at other times you're like, oh wow, look what they're doing, and look what they've accomplished, and then you look up and there's 55 points on the board. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't know exactly how to evaluate this offense other than to say we've talked about this too. There's this depth of talent across the offense where lots of different guys could make a significant play at different times during the game. It's like you don't necessarily have your core of, this guy's going to make 10 big plays in the game, and this guy's going to make. It's like we don't know. It's pick your own adventure. Which guy is going to make the big play this game?
I'm afraid we're going to be unfulfilled when this season ends. And what I mean by that is they've been playing good balls, no doubt about it. You could argue they've been playing the best ball they've played in who knows how long, maybe ever, in the way they're playing and just annihilating all these teams. But if they don't get into the postseason, I'm not talking about a bowl game. I'm talking about the playoff, obviously. Then we're going to be left wondering, what if? It's like going back to 08 and 04. What if? What if they got the chance? Now, in those cases, they weren't given the chance. Obviously, you can argue in this case that it's a situation where, they could have had the chance if they would have won enough games, but they didn't. So anyway, I think that I might be ending up being unfulfilled, wondering just how good was this team playing as we got into the heart of the season.
Yeah, I feel like that as well. And as much as I feel a little bit like I don't know exactly how to evaluate the offense, I also feel like this team is a very difficult team to beat right now. And they do same thing on the defensive side, although that may have been the philosophy, is just kind of the bend don't break mentality last week, because it seemed like they were giving up some yardage, some plays, but they kept everything in front of them. I'm sure if things go well for Utah the next 2 weeks, and I think it's the couple favorable matchups for Utah, and then we reflect back on the end of the season and we look at some of the scores, we look at some of the game stats, we look at all this stuff, we'll think, wow, that was a really good football team. And maybe we would be thinking that now, or maybe some people are thinking that now, without the loss to Texas Tech, without the loss to BYU, maybe I guess maybe I would have a higher comfort level with the team's ability to perform, even though over the last several weeks they've clearly demonstrated that. So I guess my individual approach is like it's still week to week, still like this. When Utah started getting really good, it was the circle the wagons mentality, which they always go to, and I think they should. No matter what happens at the end of the season, you have to put yourself in a position to at least have a chance, and you don't do that without the next 2 weeks.
I do think the team has evolved. PK brought up part of this earlier, was that Ficklin has clearly given them big plays that they could not generate early in the year. Early in the year, the storyline in September was they move the ball 6 yards a snap, and it takes at least 10, if not 12 or 15 plays to go 80 yards for a touchdown. Now, I mean, Baylor, there's just multiple 70-yard runs. Wayshawn Parker is being used way more. I don't know why it took until now to get him 15 carries in a game, but the last 2 games he's gotten 17 and 15 carries, and he's producing big plays. And they've also added in Bray, who also gives them the explosiveness they've lacked. So part of this is the team evolving, new offensive staff figuring out who the guys are. Maybe it's freshmen figuring out, how they fit in college football in the case of Ficklin. Do you think the team's evolved and changed that much? And that's an argument, if the SEC says that about Florida State, it flies. It's not going to fly with, I don't think it's going to fly with Utah in the Big 12. But how much truth is there in it, you think?
I think it's, I don't fault anybody for not realizing earlier that that Parker should be getting 15 carries a game. I mean, I think maybe we had a sense of that might have to occur, but you're just trying to find Beck's trying to find all of the right pieces, and that's with all of the new talent, with all the unfamiliarity, that's really difficult. I don't fault anybody. They're trying offensive players. How many times have we seen Smith Snowden carry a ball in the last several weeks? And he was a star in the beginning of the year offensively. And Lander Barton as well on the offensive side. It's just not happening as much because you've finally been able to evaluate some of the offensive talent and see them in actual game situations. So, yeah, I think it took a little bit longer. And now that talent's been identified, I think that's why the usefulness has increased, and the evolution that you're talking about. Bray is an incredible find, and you just don't expect that. You don't expect a true freshman to come in and have that kind of an impact. I would say the same thing about Ficklin. I keep thinking, is this just, circumstantial, or is this something that is repeatable for him? Can he break off 50 or 60 or 70-yard runs every game? And you know what? I don't know. Maybe he can. That, he seems to have that kind of talent. At the same time, under all this evaluation and evolution, I think there's a better understanding of Devin Dampier, and that is also important. So I'm not a fan of a 2-quarterback system, not at all a fan of a 2-quarterback system. I still feel like Dampier is your lead quarterback, and he should get the significant majority of the snaps. But I also, at this point, wouldn't mind seeing a little more Ficklin, a little more regular Ficklin. I'm not saying splitting time, but having that guy that throws the changeup and is hard for a defense to manage.
The boss turns 66 on Friday. Is this his last game in Rice-Eccles Stadium?
Oh, man.
The younger guys in the media wanted me to ask that question at his Monday press conference.
Yeah.
Because I can get away with it.
Yes. I think that he thinks he can retire, but I don't think he can retire. I don't know what he's going to do if he's not coaching football. And maybe I am completely misunderstanding this situation. I may be completely mischaracterizing it, but I just don't see him doing anything but having the routine that he has now and being fulfilled in that routine. So is he going to retire? Man, I think there's many reasons he could, maybe should retire. I just don't see it happening.
Okay, but you're looking at him in his personal situation, which is understandable. I mean, I think he can find stuff to do. He'll slam 7 irons more into the dirt or into the grass than he can now. So there are things that he can do, but I think it runs deeper than that in some conversations that I've had in terms of how long do we let Scally or make Scally have to wait?
Scally doesn't have to wait. Scally could take a head coaching job anytime he wants.
But I said, do we? So I'm speaking from the Utah administration. Certainly he can do whatever he wants, but that's the point. How long do we risk losing him? I went personal pronoun, not myself, but from the Utah administration, realizing that he can put his name out there or have his representatives put his name out there immediately if he hasn't already done so. That's the point. How long do we want him? How long do we want to flirt with the possibility of him leaving to get one or two more years out of Kyle?
I like Morgan Scally a lot, and
I love him dearly.
And just to be completely objective, there's no guarantee that Morgan Scally is the next Urban Meyer or that he's the next Kyle Whittingham. There's no guarantee that occurs.
No.
And so I don't think that the blackmail game is meaningful here. I mean, I don't think you should make the decision of, well, do we have to move along from Kyle Whittingham because there's the threat of losing Scally? I don't think you can look at it that way. I think you just have to deal with it if that occurs.
No, they won't move along, but Kyle may do it for the better interest of the program.
Okay, that's the one thing that you've said today that I would agree with.
Finally.
That's not true.
I figure if I keep talking, I'll hit something.
It was just dramatic to say that, so that's what I said.
Nice. I like
it. Here's what I would say. Coach Whittingham, if Coach Whittingham could retire and Morgan Scally is elevated to head coach and Coach Whittingham maintains some sort of role on the staff, meaningful role on the staff, I could see that as the best opportunity for him to move along from the head coaching position. So that would be the circumstance I would say under which he would retire. Morgan Scally's elevated. Coach Whittingham still has a meaningful role on the staff with Utah football, and then he transitions from head coach to something else.
You just told us you don't like 2 quarterbacks, but now you're going with 2 head coaches.
Yeah,
I mean, if Kyle's there, the shout is enormous.
That's the only thing I disagreed with what you said today.
Nice.
No, yeah. So here's what I would say about that. I would say that Kyle would Coach Whittingham. I think in that scenario would be an unbelievable asset, and that's what he would be. I feel like he could hand over the reins. He could, wash his hands. I've done my duty. Now I'm here to just support the program. I think that he could manage that role really, really well. I don't think that he would go in there like, hey, I know that I'm not the head coach by name, but guess what? I'm still the head coach. I don't see that happening at all. I would see it much more the other way. Like he could take on the role of the consigliere. Like he's just there to provide support, advice, consult, be a sounding board, all of the great things without having to deal with all of the craziness and day-to-day stuff that a head coach has to deal with.
I think he does it, but I don't think he does it from inside the building. I think he does it from the 14th green at the country club.
Ooh, I hope I'm with him.
He can't. I mean, I know that he loves golf. He can't play golf every day. Like, then he would hate golf. Like, I just don't see that happening.
No, he wants to ski, because I've talked to him about He needs to live in Utah for the skiing. The grandkids, both he and I went through this literally of missing your boys' stuff because of work. Literally, we literally went through the exact same thing, and he doesn't want to miss grandkids' stuff. And they're starting to not that I mean everyone's getting older, but I mean they're coming of age to where that is going to be more of a possibility, and I think he could be okay. I mean, he may, and then maybe he want to reconnect with his alma mater and advise that football program.
What the heck is wrong with you? When did you jump? You went so far off the reservation just now.
Well, I've lived in Arizona.
You know what, PK? I used to feel like we had some sort of like a thing. South Bay, you know, we kind of grew up together, and
I walked the streets of Culver City.
And this is what I'm saying. And now, what happened to you? Like, this is.
Well, we were just brainstorming things that he could possibly do.
I didn't think it was that weird, Frank. He does stuff like that all the time. I just think it's a day that ends in Y. I think you're making too big a deal out of it. And Yak just seconded me. He's right there.
Well, we're brainstorming, a bunch of buddies.
Yeah. Well, let's continue to work in reality here. I mean, I don't know what in the world just happened.
I think the argument is that if you take what he says,
done that, hasn't he?
You take,
hasn't he advised Kalani? I bet. You know McBride better than I do.
I think he has advised literally everyone who snaps a football on the Wasatch Front.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, he has worked out high school offensive lineman at Juan Diego, I think 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And then he's over at Hunter, and then he's got a former player who's trying to raise money to do a program on the west side for kids who can't work out in the winter.
Redemption.
Mac is just
always sweet.
Mac is a machine. I need you to drive. I need a ride. Where are you going, Mac? Ogden. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mac has the energy that you see in Kyle, and he's had to find a different way to channel it, and he has, and they've flown. His son-in-law. Remember when John Baxter was at Fresno State? He's back.
He's still at Fresno.
He's at Fresno again. I mean, he's away at USC for a while. He was out briefly, but he was on social media this weekend because apparently he said something motivating / hilarious in the locker room, and it fired him up, and they won a game. Yeah.
Gosh, well, how about that?
So he goes and sees games. I mean, he's all over the place. I mean, Kyle has to figure out how to channel it, and it will be a major change. But he did say at the Big 12 Media Days, and assuming he's not just bald-faced lying, right? I mean, we all lie to ourselves a little bit, and times change, and you get new opinions. I get all of that. But he said, I couldn't go out on last year. Well, if that's a tournament, he could go out on this year.
Right.
They're 8-2, staring at 10.
He has an interest in dance, too. He can explore that.
Line dancing?
No, Dancing with the Stars. Cha-cha.
Oh, Dancing with the Stars. Then he should definitely retire because we all want to see that. I would watch that show for the first time if that happened.
When you said dance, yeah, that would be me, too. But I thought Riverdance. I thought maybe Riverdance.
Oh, okay. Riverdance, yeah.
Coach Ritt. Yeah, I could see him skipping around like that. I don't know. I think 10-2, if he can accomplish that, and then you could look back and say, look, we've gone through 2 terrible, horrible years of Utah football. I've rebuilt the program. The cupboard is full. There's a lot of talent on this football team. The staff is intact. I'm leaving it in a good spot. Like, all of those things align. All of those things align for a meaningful retirement.
Yeah, I don't
playoffs, it's super. I think it's a stretch to say you're going to get into the playoffs, and I think you're just going to have to say, you know what, if he stays another 5 years, is he going to get in the playoffs? Like, that's a huge roll of the dice.
Yep. All right, Frank, we appreciate it. Thank you. You're the man.
You guys are the best. Right. And hey, PK.
Yeah.
I hope you feel better. Get well soon.
Okay.
I
don't think so.
You're
but
off your All right. See you.
Okay.
Guys.
See ya. There's Frank Dolce, former Ute quarterback, joins us every week here on The Zone. All right, DJ and PK, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have to give away Jazz tickets. It's a Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and you're going to win on the other side of this break. Somebody is. half an hour, every hour on the half hour, right here on the Zone all day long. Stay with us.
It's game week for the Cougars, and the KSL Sports Zone is getting you ready for kickoff. There was no Texas Tech hangover for the Cougars as they took their frustrations out on TCU. Now the Cougars hit the road for a huge Big 12 battle against Cincinnati. Listen all week long for the best coverage of Cougar football. Then catch college football Saturday game day at 10 a.m. with a postgame show immediately following the game on KSLSports.com. Your home for the best coverage of BYU football is live on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it's a Utah Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Who wants to go to a game? Do it, Yak.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, and your chance to win tickets is right now.
Call this number now.
Be caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. And you'll be on your way to Delta Center to see the Utah Jazz.
He fires the three. He hits. Oh, don't do me like that.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Utah Jazz, Oklahoma City Thunder, Friday night. You can see the champs at the Delta Center. Call right now, 801-575-ZONE. And if you don't win, we'll give away 2 more tickets at 9:30. Jake and Ben will have them at 10:30 and 11:30. And all day long, Hans and Scotty, Alex, and JJ.
I believe the champs have the Clippers and the Jazz picks, potentially.
Hey, just a ridiculous pile of wealth.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's one thing to have the picks. It's another thing to use them wisely, and they've done a good job of using picks wisely. Nobody hits on everything, but they've hit on a lot.
Well, the higher the pick, the better the chance, I guess.
Yep, true story. But we've seen people whiff on 1s and 2s, so you never know. But you're right. Take your chances picking top 5 versus 25 or 15.
Yeah.
Question of the morning. This is a big one. BYU is in the exact same position as last season. They're 9-1.
I know.
And they are 6-1 in conference.
Going on the road.
First time they've been 9-1 since last season.
Yeah.
They need to win the last 2 games to reach the Big 12 championship game. Why will this year be different?
Now, I suppose if they win, they get in automatically. They don't necessarily need it. They could still potentially get in.
To the Big 12 title game? They might be the ones who win the tiebreaker, depending on how these games play out and who's in them.
Shockingly, the Utes lose, or
Yeah. Well, but if it were a 2-team tiebreaker, they would have the advantage over Utah. That's one of the teams they don't have to worry about so much. But at Cincinnati, they'd be in a bad spot if they lose to Cincinnati, and Cincinnati ends up on 2 losses, where they sit right now.
Cincinnati loses the following week. You see what I'm saying?
That could happen. There's lots
of
of stuff that's out there.
Yeah. Not likely. The idea being for BYU, win the freaking 2 games, and it really boils down to beat Cincinnati. You beat Cincinnati, you'll beat UCF.
There are, to me, 3 potential answers to this that can all be argued. BYU's in the same position. Why will this year be different? One potential answer is, well, because they went through it last year. And they know better, and they know what they're up against. They got a bunch of guys now who are, and there's always new people on the team. It's not the exact same team, obviously, but there are a bunch of key players who know the deal, can send the message, and mentally it feels different. That's one. 2, I think the schedule is more favorable. Last year, in Game 11, they were going to play the eventual champion. They've already played Texas Tech, who would be the equivalent team this year. And they've already played Utah, who would be the closest thing maybe to another equivalent team. Now, they are on the road. That's the same. And it's still a quality opponent. It's certainly a game, that they could lose. So, one, the experience of going through it. 2, the fact this schedule looks a little more favorable over the last 2 games than last year's did. I think going to Arizona State was a tough one. And the third answer to this is it won't be different. They will lose another game. And but to me, those are the 3 answers that sit out there.
Yeah.
Aside from the obvious, they're better. Then they do have new guys, right? And
I would take it a skosh deeper.
All right.
If it's still just on paper, is in the 2 ball games they lost, and it's not slamming on the kid, but he did throw 2 big time picks.
Okay. Yeah.
And
they're going to play turnover free football this year, and they didn't.
takes care of the ball.
Only 4 picks all season long.
Yeah. Now he could get one that could be devastating.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you agree. That's one potential answer to this is it won't be different. They will turn the ball over and they will lose the game.
Yeah, but they could still – they're not going to have a high percentage of turnovers. That would be completely out of character. So I have to go by what I've seen.
But 1 or 2 key turnovers. And maybe they're a fumble, not a pick. Maybe it's not the QB.
Right. Or he fumbles. Whatever.
I mean, at Texas Tech, it was on special teams. So
they could withstand those turnovers.
beat Michigan, turn over 5 times and win the game. That's outrageous.
It could happen. It's not shocking. It does happen sometimes. You just, when you go with the analytics, you're basically playing the odds.
Mm-hmm. But teams do win 2-1.
Right.
I mean, they have those. If you just dig deeper in the analytics, like your win percentage, when you win the turnover battle by 1 or by 2 or by 3, the number changes. Lose by 1, 2, or 3, the number changes.
Understood. And we'll never, ever, ever know. But I believe if that last pass, not the last one, but the next to last possession, wasn't picked off, they beat ASU. They had all the mo.
They had the momentum. And ASU needed a big play, and they got it.
They got it.
Yeah.
They got it. They were.
I mean, you can argue that. We don't know, but you can argue it.
Their backs were against the end zone.
Yep.
On the field, you could feel it. You could feel the tension from the maroon and gold. It's like, oh, my goodness.
It's slipping away.
Yes. And he overthrows, what's-his-face, cutting down. We had him on the show each week, across the middle. And they pick it off. What was his name? Come on, his dad played in the NFL, played for the Cardinals.
We're struggling. I will get it for you shortly. That was last year, man.
It's irrelevant to the story.
It's right at the tip of my tongue.
I can see his face. I can hear
exactly.
his voice. And he even said, that ball catches me in stride. I got the angle.
Uh-huh.
Which, if you look at it, it's hard to argue that. But it happened. That's life. That's football. So,
Darius Lassiter.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it starts with a D.
Blockmeyer takes better care of the ball.
Don't worry, Yaki gets worse, not better.
It's all potentially, though.
It is all potentially.
Yeah, you don't know in that situation. And you could say ASU's better than Cincinnati at the same points, and we can buy that, right? NFL receiver, NFL running back, superstar running back in college, no doubt about that. But at the same time, the week before they had lost to Kansas, which I can argue was not better than TCU. And so they took care of TCU. So as far as the argument is, they're better equipped this year. You don't have to look at this week. You look at last week. And same situation, only the difference being you'd already had a loss. And here you didn't. Last year you didn't. But the way they played last week, it was like the resolve was there, the understanding of the situation. Hey, we're not going to blow this. Not like we did last year. And that was a devastating loss as it turned out to be, because it's a team you should have beat, whereas the Sun Devil game was a toss-up. And toss-up games, someone's win, someone's going to lose. You should have won the week before. And that week before was TCU, and they put it to TCU. So with that in mind, you got to believe that the team is better equipped. You've got a healthier L.J. Martin, right? Knock on wood, he stays healthy in this game. I don't necessarily think they need him to beat UCF, but I think they need him to beat Cincinnati on the road. A desperate Cincinnati team, which started off great, but ascended to 17 in the rankings, and then has fallen flat on their face. And so what are they going to do about that, right? So you're never going to find a more desperate Cincinnati team than Saturday night. That's just a fact. So can they match that? I think they can. I think special teams, oh, man, it's hard to be better than they were last year. It would just really be hard. So they were going to naturally take a drop to a degree, but they can't have any bleep-ups on special teams. You can't drop a freaking punt when you're transferring the ball from your hands to your feet. You can't drop a punt on the receiving end. You cannot do that.
Can't have shanks like they did against Texas Tech.
Right, but I'm assuming that with the change that they don't have that. Farron, he needs to come through. He's had a good season. He's had a couple of misses, but that's why we remember him, because he's been so good. You know what I mean? If he wasn't as good, the misses wouldn't be as pronounced. But, oh, my gosh, he missed it?
Yeah. We're freaking out.
That just means he's really good. So they got to do all those things. And if they do all those things, they can win. But obviously, we don't guarantee anything. Your level of confidence, I'd say mine is about 70%.
That's a good number. That was actually I was debating between 70 and 80.
I don't know if I can go 80.
I don't like the travel. Travel is a problem for college kids.
I think they're leaving a day early.
You can do it, and they have done it. And usually when you see a team win when they're traveling 2 or 3 time zones, either you're seeing a really good team just take care of business, or you're seeing a bad team and they're just going to lose. It doesn't matter. You can give them the advantage.
No. Is Arizona a really good team? Because they just did it last week. Is Arizona better than BYU? No.
No.
And they just did it last week.
To who?
To Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Thank you.
That's what
I
I'm
don't know why
talking about.
Kansas stayed on the brain after the interview. I'm
Okay.
like, Kansas.
No, I bring it up. Literally,
Right.
I watched the entire game.
The math is there. Did Utah break something in Cincinnati? Is there something about? And also, I think
then they were a straw.
I get it. But look at
paper tiger. Is that the expression?
Look at their wins. Where's the win where you're like
Iowa State?
They played. That's the one. That's their best win of the year.
Yeah, but so many of these teams, that's all they got. What is Indiana's big win?
But the point though is that they haven't beaten anyone as good as BYU. Indiana's big win is at Oregon.
Right.
And what's
but
Oregon's
my point
big
is,
win?
you only got like one big win.
Yeah,
a lot of these
teams. in these gigantic leagues, you got to play a bunch of teams that are in the middle and a bunch of teams that are at the bottom.
I don't think anybody breaks anybody. We broke them.
Okay.
The Devils freaking got worked by the Utes, and then the next week they come back and beat Tech.
They didn't get broken. Not everyone gets broken, but sometimes
now
teams
the quarterback was back, so that's the obvious. But still, you got run off the field. Since they got good, that's their worst loss, by far.
If Cincinnati loses this game, is it just a case of Cincinnati being who they are, that they can't compete with the best teams?
I like that theory.
They split with Arizona and Iowa State, who we think are both good.
They're good.
But not very good. Not great.
Not elite.
Right.
But good.
They didn't play,
dangerous any given game.
They didn't play Texas Tech, right?
Well, maybe they'll get them in the final.
I don't think they're getting there. I don't think they're getting there.
I don't either. I still favor BYU to win.
Is Sorsby
He's good.
But is he playing through an injury right now? That's what
Yes.
it's going to get through.
Yeah.
And
He
how
was
bad is
limping
it?
the other day.
Yeah, because I thought he threw off his. It looked
Yeah.
like he was avoiding contact against the Utes and
And he
throwing off
didn't-
his
he didn't
back
run
foot
as much.
and sailing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And on either side of those games, he didn't throw for any yardage at all. Now the Ute game, they had to throw a lot because they got behind by a lot right away.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't run their way back into the game. So in the game where his numbers, at least he threw for 200 yards in that game. He hasn't thrown for 200 before or after.
No, he's not the same.
And maybe he's throwing off his back foot because he can't push off
He
and
can't
drive
move
through. Right.
to the level that he could earlier in the season.
So that's another reason that BYU wins.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
That Sorsby to win, Cincinnati needs Sorsby to be really good.
Well, he soars.
And he soars, and physically he just can't do it now. When they beat Iowa State, he was on fire, and they were on fire. It wasn't just him. And they were on fire in the first half. They came out in the first half, and the crowd was into it, and Iowa State got down, and just they needed a halftime to regroup, and by then Cincinnati
and maybe
lost a little of their
this
edge.
is who they are. They're a decent team. They're not great. And they've had 3 losses, 2 in conference, and 2 of the 3 losses have been close.
And have been to teams that are decent.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So they
that's
beat,
really not that bad.
Right. They beat decent Baylor and Iowa State. Mm-hmm. They lose to decent Nebraska and Arizona.
Right. Close games, though.
And BYU and Utah are going to be the best 2 teams they play all year long. And Utah worked them. Now, Cincinnati had to go and play a late-night game. The travel was working against them.
Different.
And the kickoff time was working against them. because they were in the last TV window.
Yes.
So Cincinnati's playing at a weird time on their body clock. BYU does catch a break in that this is not an 11 a.m. or a 10 a.m. game here, a noon game there. That's a break, 6 o'clock. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5. You got a winner already, Ak? You're all good? All right. We'll give away more Jazz tickets to see Oklahoma City and the Jazz play Friday night at the Delta Center. We'll do that coming up at 9:30. Stay with us.
Whirls around and down.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is your exclusive home of the Utah Jazz. And we want to send you to the Delta Center to see the Jazz in action. Listen every Tuesday for the Jazz Ticket Tuesday Sounder at 30 past the hour, every hour, all day long. And if you're caller number 12, you'll be on your way to an upcoming game.
Buy one, you'll get one free.
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday, every Tuesday throughout the NBA season on your radio home for the Utah Jazz. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Got a question up on our Facebook page here. The debate is on. What should happen with the playoff? And the Big Ten keeps coming up with plans, all variations on the theme, and the SEC keeps swatting them down. I think we're going to have a 12-team playoff next year. It doesn't feel like they're going to agree on anything, and TV networks are like, guys, you got to sign a contract. We need to plan. We got other things to schedule. Everybody else has their act together. It feels like they're just going to have to push this forward another year and do this. The one that we got last year for the first time, we're seeing this year for the second. I think we'll get next year for the third time. But the Big Ten has reportedly presented a plan to conference commissioners, which is a non-starter with the SEC, for a 24-team playoff with Power 4 conferences each getting 4 auto bids. So how about this one?
Okay, so they just SEC thing, and no matter what you present, we're going to say no. Because we don't want you presenting
I think the core of all what the Big Ten wants, there may be some of that. There may be just some petty, like, we run this sport, you run this sport, we run there may be some of that. But also it seems like the Big Ten is really set on the 4 auto bids. And the SEC seems really not set on that. They seem dead set against that. So,
which I think is stupid.
What is stupid?
That they're dead set against it.
Because it's NFL-ish to you, and so get closer to the NFL model?
Well,
where you
they
know
act
you're
like they're not
something.
going to get enough teams in, but they are.
Yeah.
So then you just get the at-larges. What's the difference?
What's the difference if you get 6, 7, 8 teams in? Which under this 24-team plan, I assume they get 4 guaranteed. I assume they're going to get at least 2 more.
Right.
And some years 3 or 4, just depending on do the big teams play each other and beat each other up.
And so how many do you need?
I don't know if they'll be. There's one plan out there, and I don't know that this will ever happen, but the Big Ten and the SEC will both go to 20 or 24 or whatever. And then they'll have their own playoff in their league, and then the champs will meet each other like the AFC and FC.
I just don't think they'll do that. No. I think there'll be so much backlash and so much screw you, I'm out, that they're going to spite themselves. Let the others in because you're going to beat up on them anyway.
Yep. Which is where we sit right now. Nobody's looking at the G5 this year thinking the G5 is going to win. And the G5 teams that did win before it was called G5, they've largely assimilated to those teams now. Not Boise State, but Utah and TCU.
The best favors that I agreed to do are the ones when it doesn't come to pass.
Yeah,
and I don't have to do it anyway.
I'll give you a ride. Turned out I didn't need the ride.
Right.
Okay.
But I look great.
Yep.
Willing to help my fellow man and woman.
And you never had to get your butt off the sofa away from that TV in the first place.
Let them have their opportunities to be in, and you'll beat them anyway. So what's the difference?
And you get buy-in from the rest of the country.
Right.
Instead of slamming the door with 48 teams
and here we are out in
locking
Utah,
out 20
all excited
states.
about BYU and Utah playing this week.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, 9 o'clock hour coming up. More tickets to see the Jazz and the Thunder at 9:30. It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Stay with us.